it's wrong to target our fellow Asian brothers and sisters.
Condemn racism, support diversity.
This is another issue that we have to be more aware of and that we have to have more conversations about.
Asian community should not be silent again.
Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate!
So it's crazy for me to think that we're a year from George Floyd happening.
Yeah.
And him losing his life.
Yep.
And I feel bad because I remember at the time you reached out to me, and I really appreciate it. But there was a conversation going on before that about anti-Asian hate because of the pandemic. And sadly, because we can't talk about two things at the same time, that conversation stopped.
That's right.
Until recently, we started to have it again after the terrorist attack in Atlanta.
And that's what it was.
100%. And I really want to know, how are you?
It's obviously devastating to our community. I've always known that there's racism out there. And I think to myself, how could someone who does not know a 70-year-old Asian woman walking down the street have so much hatred to, push them, punch them? And when I see the elderly getting attacked, I think back to my mom and my dad. Like, what if they're walking down the street? I thought to myself, this is so weird. Like, I live in Toronto, in Canada, and I'm telling my folks to be, leery of strangers that might attack them.
I mean, sadly, per capita, there's more hate crimes against Asians in Canada than there are in America.
We don't think that there's more per capita here in Canada because we just hear more about it in the United States. As Canadians, we always, take pride in being more of an inclusive society, more of an inclusive country.
I jump around and cover different sports. But when my storytelling goes towards hockey, I see a little bit more racialized commentary that's not so positive in my mentions. But you cover baseball.
America's pastime. And I remember, and I'm not gonna say who it was, but when news got out that I was leaving Toronto, one of the players came over and he said, "Why would you go to Boston?" And I remember thinking, it's a great opportunity. And he said, they're racist there. I thought about it. And then when I got to Boston, someone said, A, what does she know about baseball? She's from Canada. And B, she's Asian. My colleagues were blonde hair and blue eyes. I just stuck out like a sore thumb, and I just so wanted to, quote unquote, blend. I had dyed my hair almost to the point, it was these light blonde streaks. And I remember looking back at photos that I looked like an Asian woman with blonde hair. And I just remember thinking, if I could somehow maybe not look as Asian, that it would somehow make my life easier to blend in.
Do you still see that negative pushback even though you're more established?
Over the last 4 or 5 years, the environment has created a place for people to be a little bit more racist. I'm on social media, as you know, and a lot of comments have nothing to do with my work. It's how I looked, what I should be doing. It is quite breathtaking in the sense that it's 2021. And there are still pockets of our society that are still in that mindset, in that era where, one race is better than the other.
What's that like being labeled
It's
the
Asian reporter? Sadly, I'm usually the only one in the clubhouse of Asian descent. When you say the Asian reporter, people kind of know you're talking about me. I don't want to be separated. I feel like I work just as hard as everybody else. And if you want to know my name, ask me.
So I've said before, when I hear sirens around the police, my heart rate goes up. But I'm not walking around like that every day.
You're right, right.
attacks against Asians, sadly, are happening in broad daylight for no reason.
Yeah.
How safe are you feeling right now?
You know, when I don't have, you know, the 10 pounds of makeup, you know, and the fake lashes, and I have my mask on, and people see just my eyes, they don't recognize me as Hazel Mae with the Blue Jays or with Sportsnet. I'm just someone who's part of an Asian community, who looks Asian, who is Asian. I could be a target. So yeah, I think about that a lot.
What can other racialized people, minorities do?
Maybe not say the funny Asian stereotype joke in the office. When there's violence against any other culture, any other race, to me that's sad. And if you and I have a platform, we should be able to use it to try to unify people.
Thank you for this therapy session.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I think it was more my therapy than you, but I appreciate it, thank you.